So this video is the insanity. This video shows me the insanity of women. So I'm gonna play this once, then we're gonna react to it.
Hey you guys, so I recently broke up with my boyfriend and I didn't think that I was going to share this experience or this story just because it's not that big of a deal and it's kind of private too, but I decided to share it because I felt like the girls really needed to hear about this. So there are two major points I'm going to make and I'm going to try to keep this very short. So number one, the way that God has carried me throughout this breakup is really nothing short of amazing and unbelievable. Usually after a breakup, I'm a mess. Like, I've been known to cry in the club over a breakup. Like, I'm telling you, days, weeks, And the fact that that has not been my experience this time is only because of God. And I've been really trying to get back to my relationship with Him, first and foremost, so that He is leading my relationships from now on. Number two is I feel like a lot of times when we all see these breakup stories, especially coming from the woman's perspective, it's always like this horror story, like, the stuff that she's been through and what he put her through and all the stuff that she put up with. And we all look at her like, girl, why was you in that relationship? Like, why did you stay? But when I tell you guys that that's not my experience at all, like, it just wasn't. My ex was a great guy. Like, even after we broke up, still sending me flowers to my apartment, like just a great guy, but for somebody else. And we didn't break up because of anything that he did to me, anything that I found out or anything that I did to him. We literally broke up because just of small things that led me to understand that this was not my husband. And so I needed to make room for my husband by exiting that relationship. But I'm telling you, the way that he treated me within this relationship was so good. He's raised my standard. And you guys know that my standards are already high to begin with. But my ex treated me so well in our relationship that it was like, if the next guy, he's made it harder for the next guy. Because if the next guy isn't coming like my ex or better, then off the rip, you can get to stepping. Like, so, breakups don't always have to be this, oh, I'm learning a hard lesson or I went through some traumatic experience. Not every relationship is going to end up in a marriage. And the ones that don't end up in marriage doesn't mean that it has to be messy or, as long as you're upholding your standards within the relationship, it should be a positive experience. And honestly, my relationship was a positive experience. And I'm telling you, like, I have nothing bad to say about him. And we're still friends. We still talk and everything. But I just don't feel like the girls hear that often about a relationship that you get out of that has raised your standards. That, like, he's treated me so well, like the next guy's gonna be hard for him, So I just wanted you guys to hear that, because not every breakup is a horror story and not every breakup is some hard learning lesson. Some breakups are really because you're just maturing and you want different types of relationships, and you just came to understand, like, I don't see myself marrying that person, so let's not waste each other's time. And that's pretty much what this was. But like I said, great guy, love him, and yeah, that's it.
Infuriating. The absolute insanity. Okay? Absolute insanity. This is the thing, right? This mindset is why divorces are about 40 to 50%. Okay? The likelihood of you getting a divorce is about 40 to 50%. It's a coin flip. And this is why predominantly women will file for divorce. Right? So that's why I bring that divorce up. It's a correlation to relationships. Why, if you have heard, it's predominantly women who leaves relationships. It's predominantly women who breaks up with men. It's predominantly women that leave men. And here is the kicker. Here's my maybe insane theory. I think most of the time it's this type of relationship where women leave decent men, good men. Why? Because they think they can do better. They think there's better out there. Stop believing in personal opinion. Stop believing in the lies that, oh, men are cheaters, abusers, liars and all this shit. I'm not saying there's no men like that. I'm saying that is only the loud women that says that shit. I honestly believe the majority of breakup, majority of women leaving relationships are good men, but they're just not perfect. These men are just not perfect, right? So, what do women do? I think I could do better. So I'm going to leave this good man, but you know what? He's just not perfect. So I'm going to leave this man and look for the next man. That will, because my standards have risen, right? So because my ex was so amazing, but he's not perfect enough. So I'm going to look for the next man who is close or perfect. I believe that is the majority. That is the true narrative, okay, that you don't hear. That women, majority of the time, in my personal opinion, leave good relationships because it's just not perfect. It's not good enough. But let's break this crap down.
Hey you guys, so I recently broke up with my boyfriend and I didn't think that I was going to share this experience or this story just because it's not that big of a deal and it's kind of private too, but I decided to share it because I felt like the girls really needed to hear about this. So there are two major points I'm going to make, and I'm going to try to keep this very short. So number one, the way that God has carried me throughout this breakup is really nothing short of amazing and unbelievable. Usually after a breakup, I'm a mess.
I think it's insane that women bring up God. But here's the thing, right? Here's the sad thing. You think about this. She said usually she's a mess, but this one she's not. She said this man was amazing. This man was good. And yet, all the other men that were terrible, she broke down. But the man that was good to her, she was able to come out of it well. That says to me, right? The number one thing, this man was a simp. This man, she didn't really was attracted to, right? I honestly believe a lot of women, they're attracted to toxic men, right? They're attracted to terrible men. This man treated her good, right? Treated her right, respect her and all this shit, loved her. But she didn't have the butterflies, she didn't have those vibes. So really, she was fine with leaving this man. And that's the thing, that's the sad reality, that this man treated this woman to the best of his ability, and she wasn't even that heartbroken over leaving him.
I've been known to cry in the club over a breakup. Like, I'm telling you, days, weeks, And the fact that that has not been my experience this time is only because of God. And I've been really trying to get back to my relationship with him, first and foremost, so that he is leading my relationships from now on. Number two is, I feel like a lot of times when we all see these breakup stories, especially coming from the woman's perspective, it's always like this horror story, like, the stuff that she's been through and what he put her through and all the stuff that she put up with. And we all look at her like, girl, why was you in that relationship? Like, why did you stay? But when I tell you guys that that's not my experience at all, like, it just wasn't. My ex was a great guy. Like, even after we broke up, still sending me flowers to my apartment,
Man, like, that's one thing, right? Insane. I'm sorry. That man is like the absolute simp, right? This is the thing where I saw this video, right? Where like a woman said, why men hate Russell Wilson. Men don't hate him. Men see the point that women don't like those men. Okay? This is a young woman in her mid-20s. She sees no value in a Russell Wilson until she's been used and abused by the futures of the world. Right? This is why men, they don't hate the Russell Wilsons of the type, but they hate the hypocrisies, the delusions around those men. You only go for good men at the end of the line, right? When you are used up, abused, been through with the Chads, the Tyrones, the Pookies, the Ray Rays, right? You've been used by those type of men. And then you go for the Russell Wilsons. So, let's hypothetically where she gets with terrible men. That's when she realized, oh, you know what? The man that is a simp that sent me flowers, that's the man I should be with. But then you left that man. You thought that man wasn't good enough. And then you deal with more and more toxic men out there. So you wonder why, and then you say, there's no good men, right? And then you end up with, you settle for a Russell Wilson type. That's why men is like, they hate Russell Wilson, because It's the image, right? You only like good men and when you are used up by bad men. That's the thing. That's the key thing right there. And it's just, it's like, this is the thing with insanity, right? It is understandable, right? It is logical for women to leave bad men. It is logical, right? That's logical. Why wouldn't you leave bad men? It is insanity that you will leave good men. That is, make it make sense. Make it make sense to leave a good man. A man that you have no complaints about. Make it make sense.
Like, just a great guy, but for somebody else. And we didn't break up because of anything that he did to me, anything that I found out, or anything that I did to him. We literally broke up because just of small things that led me to...
Again, like, make him, I mean, how about have the right way of saying you broke up with him over the small things? It's not we didn't break up over the small things. You broke up over the small things. You left the man over small things. Think about that, right? How is a good man or the next man able to trust you that you will leave him over small things? I think that's the worst thing, right? You will leave a man over trivial things, and I'm going by her words, by small things, by trivial things, by things that, you know what, they're not that substantial. Here's a man that treated her well, treated her good. Okay? He's human. Maybe she wants him to treat her perfectly. Absolutely perfect. But, again, the insanity of women thinking about perfection. Right? Perfection.
Understand that this was not my husband, and so I needed to make room for my husband by exiting that relationship. But I'm telling you, the way that he treated me within this relationship...
I will say this, right? I agree the part where don't waste your time, okay? Women have a finite clock, right? You don't waste your time. Don't waste your time on men that you don't see a future with. Which, fine, she doesn't see a future with this man. But this is the insanity. Technically, will you waste your time? Because let's say this: who knows, right? The likelihood of you finding a better man. Who knows, right? So, what if you find subsequent terrible men, right? The next relationship, he's worse than the last. The next relationship, he's worse than the last. So, really, you may have just waste your time with terrible men. It's like it's a crapshoot, right? This is why I say it makes sense that you left a man for really no good reason because you don't see a future with them. Fine, you don't want to waste your time on that, but it's like, are you going to waste your time now trying to find men that are perfect, right? That are better?
Was so good, he's raised my standard. And you guys know that my standards are already high to begin with. But my ex treated me so well in our relationship that it was like, if the next guy, he's made it harder for the next guy.
That's the thing. That's the thing, right? Already high standards to begin with. And this man kind of met those standards. But now after being with this man, now her standards are even higher. This is the insanity of it right here, right? The insanity, the absolute insanity. And it's disgusting. I mean, it's like, it is fine, right? She says what she wants to say, fine. But I just think that this ideology, right, is what's ruining relationships. It's what is ruining the dating market right now. Okay? It's because women's standards are so high that even they admit a good man, they will still leave that man for hope because they hope for better, right? Because this is it. She met a good man, but now she left that good man because she wants better. And it's like this. This isn't the. And I'm saying that not even just her. I think most women are like that. And like I said, right? Why I talked about divorce statistics is because of that, right? Because married women are thinking like that, right? The divorced women are thinking like that. I may have married a good man, but you know what? I want a better man. So I'm going to divorce this man, try to look for a better man. Even though he's a good man, even though I have kids with him, even though I've been with this man for years, I'm going to leave this good man because I want better.
If the next guy isn't coming like my ex or better, then off the.
And she said, right? If the next man is not coming like my ex or better, you just left your ex. So why do you want a man like your ex? Right? Why? I get the better part because that's what women want, right? Better. But why even like your ex or better? Right? That's the hypocrisy, the delusion she's even spouting from her own mouth. Why I'm passionate about this is because this is the insanity, right? This is the insanity that men are dealing with, right? This supposedly good man. I'm just guessing, right? Assuming that he might loved her because he's still sending her flowers after she broke up with him. So she shattered his world because she wanted another man like him or better, right? This is the insanity. And I've been in kind of situations, right, where I've been a friend with a woman, right? I wanted her, but she said, "Oh, I wish my boyfriend was like you." Girl, I'm here. I'm me, right? That's the thing where women will say shit like the insanity of it. I want a man like you, but you know what? I don't want you. It's like, what? What? Does that make sense? No, it don't make sense at all.
You get to step in. So, breakups don't always have to be this, oh, I'm learning a hard lesson or I went through some traumatic experience. Not every relationship is going to end up in a marriage. And the ones that don't end up in marriage doesn't mean that it has to be messy or, as long as you're upholding your standards within the relationship, it should be a positive experience. And honestly, my relationship was a positive experience. And I'm telling you, I have nothing bad to say about him, and we're still friends. We still talk and everything, but I just don't feel like the girls hear that often about a relationship that you get out of that has raised your standards. That he's treated me so well, the next guy's gonna be hard for him, So I just wanted you guys to hear that because not every breakup is a horror story, and not every.
Does that make sense? He treated me so well. The next guy's going to be hard for him. So now subsequent men have to be better than the man that it's like this absolute insanity of women is just beyond me, right? And this is the thing, right? Why you see women chronically single is because their expectations is so insane. Because you meet guys that may meet your expectations, but then after meeting him, your expectations grow, right? So let's do this, right? You hypothetically, if a woman met a man that's $100K earner, after meeting him, she left him because now she has an expectation of, I want a man that makes $1 million. The absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. It's like, really? You want a man that make... It's like... It is the unreal expectations that women have constantly for men. It's just beyond me. It is so... It's absolutely disgusting for me.
every breakup is some hard learning lesson. Some breakups are really because you're just maturing and you want different types of relationships, and you just came to
Different types of relationships? It's like, God.
understand, like, I don't see myself marrying that person, so let's not waste each other's time. And that's pretty much what this was. But like I said,
Which is, that part is fine, right? If you don't see a future with a man, cool, right? That's cool. It's just that sometimes I find it insane that, you know, the man was so good that he met your expectations. Now you raised your expectations even higher. It's like I just find it delusional. You know, I just find it delusional. Here, let's show her response, right?
Are you single?
No, not this one.
so I've been made aware that the last couple of weeks that the males have hated my video that I was talking about my breakup, and I was saying I broke up with my boyfriend, but he was a good guy, treated me well, but he was not my husband, so we broke up. They had a problem with that because basically what they're saying is good enough should be good enough. But let me tell you one thing, good enough was never good enough for me. I live my life on 10 with everything that I do. I'm not going to look at something that's good and think that it's husband, because here's what it is. Good enough is right here. This is a good boyfriend. This is a husband, okay? And a lot of y'all date men that are in the gutter. See, I feel bad for not only the men be acting crazy anyway, but I feel bad.
But the man you chose wasn't in the gutter, right? The man you chose, you from your mouth, he was good. He met your expectations and make you raise them. This is the thing, right? Men are not talking about you meeting a scrub. Men are saying that you met a man that met your expectations, that now after being with this man, your expectations rose, right? Got higher. So really, this man wasn't in the gutter. This man met your expectations and then fulfilled them, but made you raise them because now you want better. You want more, right? So, no, it's not in the gutter.
For the women that didn't understand me, because that means that you really like live your life with a scarcity mindset of, oh, I'm gonna take good enough because I'll never get better than good enough. Girl, I will always get better than good enough. And it honestly just really made me sad to see the women that didn't understand what I was talking about, because sis, that means that you dated people that did not treat you well. A prerequisite to dating me is that you treat me well. That's the bare minimum. And the fact that you are not getting bare minimum, I feel sorry for you, sis, but I can't live my life that way.
I find that absolutely idiotic, right? I find it idiotic because, again, it's not about not being treated well or anything like that. It's about your insane expectations. I say it's fine that the man that you date, you don't see a future with them. Fine, it is what it is, right? I just find it amazing that you date men that meet your expectations, but then you leave him because now you want better. You want better than the man that met your expectations. I find that idiotic. I find it idiotic in my opinion. So yeah. Here's a guy that I thought was he's usually pretty dead on with his thoughts. So let's check it out.
So I've been made aware that the last couple of weeks that the males have hated my video that I was talking about my breakup, and I was saying I broke up with my boyfriend, but he was a good guy, treated me well, but he was not my husband, so we broke up. They had a problem with that because basically what they're saying is good enough should be good enough. But let me tell you one thing, good enough was never good enough for me. I live my life on 10 with everything that I do. I'm not going to look at something that's good and think that it's husband, because here's what it is. Good enough is right here. This is a good boyfriend. This is a husband.
My goodness.
And a lot of y'all date men that are in the gutter.
Listen, what kills me about people that think like this, bro, it'll never be enough for them. In the video she had said the guy that she broke up with was good, and he even raised her standards. Listen, it's either you're good or you're bad. These type of women, they want Jesus Christ. Listen, you could walk on water, bro, and it still won't be enough. I'm telling you, can give them the whole world, bro, it will never be enough. Simply because they have that mindset of, oh, there's always better. This is not good enough for me. It's ridiculous, bro. They sit here and say that they're ready for marriage, they're ready for a husband, but they have this weak-ass mindset. And what blows me even more is the women that agree with this. What else do you need besides loyalty and love? What else do you need? Y'all add all these speculations to this relationship dating and all these tactics. What else do you need besides loyalty and love?
And that's the thing, right? Here's a comment that said, y'all the reasons so many relationships are miserable. Ugh. Stop telling people to settle for things that don't make them the happiest they can be. Why is this even a conversation? The happiest you can be. This is the thing where, this is the insanity of women. Why I referenced, why did I reference marriage statistics? It is because of shit like that, right? It is because women leave men because they think the relationship should be amazing, right? Amazing. Should be a storybook marriage. Should be a storybook romanced relationship. And that's why I think it's just like, it's absolute insane. Where nothing is good enough. And that's scary. That's scary, right? And that's why a lot of men are thinking that, oh, I'm scared of marriage, right? I'm scared of marriage because of women thinking that it's not good enough, right? I can make her happy now. I can make her happy for a few years. But then, who knows, in those few years, she's not happy anymore. Then she'll leave me. It's like, that's what men, not crazy about.
Go with my girlfriend. She was actually perfect. Like, even though alright, y'all,
so tell me this, right? I think this video was funny, right? He did a video, kind of satire, or just like, here's the thing, what if a man said it?
Alright, y'all, so I broke up with my girlfriend. She was actually perfect. Like, even though we broke up, she'll still send me food. She'll cash at me for food and pay for my lunch and things of that nature. But being in that relationship, I just don't think she was my wife. I have to make room for my wife. Like, she was the perfect girl. She's a great girl. Perfect, right? But I just don't think she's the one for me. Like, I have to make room for my wife. It's like, if you get it, you get it. It's just like, a person could be a good person, but they might not be able to be that person for you. So yeah, like, she was perfect though. Like, she never cheated. She always looked out for me. She used to cover my pocket when I didn't have it. But I just don't think she was the one for me, man. Like, I had to make room for my wife, dog. She was all good though. Like, she was cool. That was my best friend, but I had to just let her go. I didn't want to hurt her anymore. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I just felt like we didn't agree on certain things, but she was perfect. Yeah, it's whatever though. I mean, she's just not the one for me.
That's why it just, anyone who says it, right? Saying a woman that, this is the thing, right? That's the thing, where anyone who says like, oh, this person is great, but you know what? I want perfection. The insanity of it, right? Absolute insanity of it. I don't know. I just think it's, those are the things where I think it's sad. That's what men have to deal with, trying to be perfect, right? Or or the fear of not being perfect for the woman you love. Ain't that a fear? I think that's the fear, right? Where you're not good enough. I said this before, right? My last relationship, that essentially I was who I am, right? I was exactly the person that I am at the beginning of the relationship, at the end of the relationship. No difference, right? My personality, my wants, how I talk, how I act, exactly the same. She loved me in the beginning, okay? She fell out of love with me at the end. But one of the things why I contribute that she fell in love with me is that I didn't have enough. I didn't have enough money. I said this. I guaranteed if, let's say, I hit the jackpot the next day, she would still be with me. Right? She would have zero complaints then. That's the thing where I was who she loved me, right? I was the person that she loved me in the beginning, right? I was that person. No different. I didn't change up. I wasn't two-faced, right? I wasn't, promised her the world and then didn't deliver. No. I was I was exactly that same man at the beginning that I was at the end. Okay? The only difference is that continue that situation, I couldn't afford things that she wanted. I couldn't continue to pay for things that she wanted. So that's why, I know with practically 100% certainty, if I had the money to go along with who I am, she would still be with me. I guaranteed it. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing where men will have to fear, is that we're just not good enough. Even though we are the same person that these women fall in love with, but if we're not good enough, if they see that, I fell in love with this man, but after a while, he just wasn't enough, I will leave him. And that's a big fear for a lot of men. I just think that's insane. I don't know. It's sad for me. Right? It's sad to think out, but that's how it is for men.